Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday. It is the first day of March. Holy cow, how did that happen? Doesn't seem quite right that we're already into March, does it?
No, it
Does that
doesn't.
mean the year is half over? Okay, maybe not quite that fast. But, boy, it's going quick. Got a guest coming up. Oh, I guess I'm going to tell you first what today is. National Daggum That's Good Day, National Peanut Butter Lovers Day, National Fruit Compote Day, National Horse Protection Day, National Pig Day. So pigs and horses have to share the same day? Doesn't really seem fair.
Why would they need a day at all?
I don't know. National Minnesota Day, National Read Across America Day. It's also Dr. Seuss Day. It's National Day of Unplugging, so it's time to unplug and actually read a book. National Employee Appreciation Day, National Salesperson Day, National Dress in Blue Day, and National Speech and Debate Education Day. All of these things jammed into one day. Half the year we have like one or two things. Why don't they move some of that stuff around? I mean, wouldn't that be great? I do have a great guest coming up, Dusty Slay. He's a comedian. He's a very funny man. Just recently inked a deal with ABC for his own half-hour comedy show. Going to be chatting with him later in the program. Dusty Slay for our comedy call. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. A study by the University of Warwick found that new parents don't get full nights of sleep for the first 6 years. Really? You needed a study for that? I remember when our kids were little kids, because now they're adults, basically. They're young adults, but they're our kids actually did a pretty good job sleeping most of the time, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they were good. Yeah, they were really good
for the most
kids.
part. So I think that we were pretty darn blessed, and we still have been. This is surveys and studies and such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. Credit cards. For years, I didn't use credit cards. We paid off all of our debt, and we quit using credit altogether. But then our credit score went down. It was affecting our insurance rates. Not sure why, but that's tied to your credit score. I'm not suggesting you rack up credit card debt just to rack up credit card debt, but my wife and I now each use a credit card, and then we pay them off every month. It's helped our credit score. But not all cards are the same. Some cards are better than others. If you'd like to find one that's the best fit for you, check out BetterCreditCards.net. That's BetterCreditCards.net. And this is your brain on drugs. A judge by the name of Becky Doherty admitted to officers that she was, quote, out of her mind, end quote, when busted on Sunday for drinking while driving. 55-year-old Doherty was arrested around 9:15 after reportedly driving her SUV off an icy ramp and crashing into a ditch. Officers placed the judge in the back of a police cruiser, leaving her cell phone in a pile of vomit on the side of the road. She refused to take a breathalyzer test or complete a field sobriety test. She was booked and then says she was operating a vehicle under the influence. Several times she requested police to contact the sheriff's office and ask for a specific person. She became increasingly loud and refused to sit down. An officer finally locked her in a jail cell. So there you go. That can happen to anybody, even a judge. So that is a bad idea. And the story is written very interestingly. Like when I first read that first line, it made no sense to me, so I just skipped it. Here's what it says.
Skipped over it.
Portage County Common Pleas Judge Becky Doherty. What does that all mean?
I don't know.
That's why I just said a judge. There we go. It's a lot easier. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Jenna Bush Hager is officially replacing Kathy Lee Gifford on the Today Show. So for those of you who watch that, there are some that are excited and some that are not so much. So is Kathy Lee Gifford retiring?
I don't know. She must be.
All right.
I don't watch that show,
I
have
either,
no idea.
But I know there are people who do. A cast member is accusing Lindsay Lohan of doing drugs during the filming of Lindsay Lohan's Beach House.
Shocker.
What did
Isn't
you
that kind of what they wanted?
Yeah, what did you think was going to happen?
That's what they wanted.
It's exactly what they wanted. They're like, hey, let's take somebody who has
substance abuse problems
and put her in a bar and put cameras on them and have the booze flowing.
It's disgusting.
What do you think was going to going to happen. Of course that was going to happen. And sad news, Stanley Donen, he was from Singin' in the Rain. He was the director of that. He was the last survivor of Hollywood's golden age. He passed away this week at age 94. So that's
Long,
sad.
happy life.
There you go. Again, a lot of interesting stuff in today's Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert. Hear awesome 80s music from Scandal, featuring Patti Smythe, A Flock of Seagulls, Richard Page of Mr. Mister, Tony Lewis from The Outfield, Pretty Poison, Thomas Dolby, and more. Also, meet people from your favorite 80s movies, like Robert Hayes from Airplane, E.G. Daly from Valley Girl, and more. May 3rd and May 4th. Get more info now at 80sinthedesert.rocks. Use promo code RADIO to save $25 per ticket.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. Dolly Parton. I've always liked Dolly. I think she seems like a neat lady.
Yeah, she seems like a nice lady.
And a very smart business person. She's done very well for herself. Well, she revealed that she once whipped out a pistol on a man who confused her with a prostitute. What?
Whoa.
So he thought that she was, a woman of the street, and she pulled a gun on him. He's like, no! Dolly Parton. She also told an interviewer that she's not in line with the Me Too movement because she said she has inappropriately hit on men at times. So she's basically going, yeah, it was happening. I did it to them too. So I just think that's really interesting for her to take that stance.
It does go both ways.
It does. So.
And to... I don't know. There are a lot of times I think that these people are screaming and freaking out when really what happened was just an innocent pass.
Well, and every story is different.
Each story
so
is different,
yeah.
but there are a lot of them that I've read. I'm like, really? You're making a federal case out of this?
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal.
An Australian woman found a python in her slippers after she put them on at the end of a 9,300-mile flight from Scotland. Here's my question. Either those were really big slippers or that was a tiny little python. So can you imagine putting your feet into your slippers at the end of a flight and finding a slimy little snake in there? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And who flies 9,300 miles with no shoes on? I mean, what?
Maybe they were like in first class and they were given slippers or something.
I don't know. It just seems a little weird. And where did the snake come from? I don't know. I have a lot of questions on this. But
Snakes on a plane.
Yeah, it's a movie about that, I think. Khloe Kardashian and Kylie Jenner. Oh, this I have to do this right. Heidi, have you heard the news?
Probably
Khloe Kardashian
not.
and Kylie Jenner. They say they're not going to take calls from Jordan Woods anymore. She was Kylie's best friend before she hooked up with Tristan Thompson. They're not taking her calls anymore.
Oh, that's fine.
Why is this news?
Who cares?
Is that the most ridiculous thing ever? And who takes calls anymore anyway? I mean, seriously.
Who cares?
Isn't it all like tweeting and texting and Twittering and all of that? I don't know.
Like high school.
I just thought that was the
Grow
most bizarre
up.
thing that passed as news. That was literally in with the news. Khloe and Kylie are not going to talk to Jordan Woods anymore. Who cares? I bet Jordan's just broken up over this. I don't know who that is, and I don't care who they are. Moving on to, I think this will probably be our last story because there's a lot going on here. According to authorities, a Florida police officer has now been suspended without pay for letting some suspects get hot and heavy in the back of his patrol car last summer. So an internal investigation into this romantic cruiser ride kicked off in July of 2018. So right after it happened is when they first looked into this. Fort Pierce police officer Doug McNeil took 23-year-old Zachary Molendick and 24-year-old Krista Lee into custody for shoplifting at a Walmart. So that's what they were doing in the back of the police cruiser.
Okay.
A search of the pair turned up stolen jewelry and a baby toy, so the officer arrested them and escorted them to the back of his vehicle. Lee was cuffed and placed inside a patrol car, but Molendick, who had been using crutches to help him walk there, was not restrained. During the drive from the Walmart to the county jail, video shows the pair holding each other, cuddling, and kissing, while the officer was playing the song from Barry White, Can't Get Enough of Your Love. That was playing on the radio. Can't get enough of your love, babe. So that was playing in the back. An investigation into the incident. It just goes on. An investigation into the incident concluded that the officer, McNeil, violated a total of 9 policies.
Gosh.
He was suspended for 20 days without pay as a result. That is such a bizarre story.
That is hilarious.
So what was he supposed to do? Like cuff each of them to a different side of the car?
Oh.
He was driving. Was he supposed to be,
I guess you should probably pull over
I don't know.
and take care of it.
Spray them with a hose?
You certainly don't play romantic music.
But if that's what happened to be playing on the radio,
I
again,
don't think
I'm not searching into this anymore. You want to see it, there's a link. It's in the show notes.
That is so funny.
That is very bizarre. It's today's Scoop of the Day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Are they keeping you up at night? Afraid to open your own mail or even answer your telephone? If your tax problems are affecting your family life, you need to know you have options. You have rights, and we'll make sure you get them. Call and speak with Mike Habib, the tax expert who will handle your case at 877-78-TAXES or online at myirs.taxrelief.com. That's 877-78-TAXES or myirs.taxrelief.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a very funny man joining us today, Dusty Slay, recently on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and also recently with Jimmy Kimmel on The Jimmy Kimmel Show. Is that confusing when you're on there, Dusty? Say the wrong name?
Oh, yeah, it's confusing. People will say, they'll bring me on stage and they'll say, oh, you've seen him on Jimmy Fallon. You've seen him on The Tonight Show. And it's like, well, those are the same.
I get confused. And I grew up watching Johnny Carson, so, I still, when I say Tonight Show, I want to say Johnny Carson, but that shows maybe I'm a little out of touch. So.
Oh, yeah, well, Johnny Carson was great. I mean, I love The Tonight Show. That really changed the whole game for me. So I love it.
So now, again, Dusty Slay is who we're talking to right now. He's a comedian. You've had the opportunity to do some really cool stuff, and I'm looking at your tour schedule for this year. We're going to throw a link in our show notes to make it easy for people to find out when you're in their area. But how did you get started in the comedy business, Dusty?
Well, I used to sell pesticides, and I would go to all these stores, Lowe's and Home Depots, and people would ask me weird questions. They'd be like, I'm looking for something organic. I'd like to kill the insects but not harm the environment. And I'm like, well, how about a shoe? And so I did that.
That's awesome.
So I did that for years, and I was like, you know what? There's got to be a better way. And I started doing open mics and making people laugh, and I was like, this. And then once I made a little bit of money, I was like, oh, this could work out.
And it kind of beats hanging out there killing insects, doesn't it?
It does. It does beat that.
But there's a lot more traveling involved in what you're doing now. So how much time do you spend on the road, Dusty?
I'm on the road I'd say about 45 weekends a year, I would say. And I spend a lot of time in hotels. I don't always get the best hotels either. I was in this hotel recently, and they had a sign in the hotel room, in the room, it said, not responsible for stolen items. So I took some stuff.
Who's coming in here for my stuff?
Right. I was like, I took their stuff. I was like, I'm not responsible either. I don't even work here.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
I need a bedspread at home. I'm taking this one.
Yeah. Needing a lamp with some plugs on it.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Alabama. Everybody loves college football. I grew up near Auburn. Where I come from, they say you're either an Alabama fan or you went to college. But I didn't go to college, so roll tide.
There you go.
Yeah, I grew up in a trailer park in Alabama, which wasn't that fun, so I'm not sure why they call it a park. It wouldn't.
That is kind of a weird name for it, isn't it?
I know. They're not, yeah, it's like there wasn't no rides in there, no water slides. We had like an occasional slip and slide, or like an old tarp with some Dawn dish detergent on it.
That's
but
awesome.
I slipped and slide over a tree root one time.
Oh.
Don't jump it. And that's not how that worked.
Did not go well.
No. You woke up, you stand up, you can't even breathe. I got up, I was like, I just got up and got a job. I was like, I ain't done playing out here.
Now, I'm reading in here that when you grew up, you didn't necessarily have a lot of money growing up, and I can certainly relate to that. I think a lot of folks can probably relate to that.
Yeah, we were kind of poor. We weren't real poor. We just didn't have everything, I never got ice cream growing up. My mom used to just pour milk into a bowl, and then she'd call me into the room and go, well, you're too late.
That's why you should listen to your mother.
That's right. She's like, I guess you'll come next time I call you.
You catch me pouring the milk in the bowl.
That's right.
And I also read that you recently quit drinking. That's cool.
Yeah, quit drinking. I used to black out all the time, and
oh, wow.
Nothing good ever happens. Yeah, nothing good ever happens when you black out. No one's ever like, man, you blacked out last night, but I appreciate you helping those taxes.
Yeah, that's never happened, has it?
Yeah, no. You don't get a lot of productive things brains asleep.
Yeah, not really. Again, our guest today, Dusty Slay. Now, you were just recently at the Grand Ole Opry, right?
Yeah, I love the Opry. I love country music. Well, country music's the one genre of music people tell you they don't like, even when you didn't ask.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey, what kind of music you like? Everything but country. And it's like, oh, everything, huh? Big polka fan, I guess.
Yeah, gangster rap, maybe? No?
Yeah.
I see you've got quite the schedule here, and I'm going to throw a link in our show notes to this entire schedule so folks can kind of see if you're going to maybe be in the area where they are or if they've got family or friends in that area. Very funny man that we've been chatting with here, Dusty Slay. Dusty, thank you for taking time to chat, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. And that schedule's always changing. DustySlay.com, it's always changing. Not if you see a date on there, it's going to stay, but I'm always adding to it. So
it's like, oh no, we heard him on the program, so we're taking him off now. So
yeah.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to chat. Again, Dusty Slay has been our guest. I have a link in our show notes to his Facebook page and also to his Instagram and to his website with the schedule, so you can see all of that in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Credit cards. For years, I didn't use credit cards. We paid off all of our debt and we quit using credit altogether. But then our credit score went down. It was affecting our insurance rates. Not sure why, but that's tied to your credit score. I'm not suggesting you rack up credit card debt just to rack up credit card debt, but my wife and I now each use a credit card and then we pay them off every month. It's helped our credit score. But not all cards are the same. Some cards are better than others. If you'd like to find one that's the best fit for you, check out bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Australia is larger than Pluto. It's a lot closer, too. You'd think a celestial body would be bigger than any country on Earth, even if that country is also a continent. But it turns out that is not the case. Pluto measures 2,370 kilometers across compared to Australia, 4,000 kilometers in diameter. So Pluto is actually smaller
I
than
have
Australia.
never been to Australia, and
I've
would
never
love
been there or to Pluto,
to go.
believe it or not. So,
I've not been to
you know
Pluto
what else?
either.
It's been a fun fact. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the desert. Hear awesome 80s music from Scandal, featuring Patty Smythe, A Flock of Seagulls, Richard Page of Mr. Mister, Tony Lewis from The Outfield, Pretty Poison, Thomas Dolby, and more. Also, meet people from your favorite 80s movies, like Robert Hayes from Airplane, E.G. Daly from Valley Girl, and more. May 3rd and May 4th. Get more info now at 80sinthedesert.rocks. Use promo code RADIO to save $25 per ticket.
Now, fear this. Time for fun with phobias. Heidi, tell me, do you know what obromophobia is?
Obromo?
I don't know if I'm saying it right. Ombrophobia. That's what it is. Ombrophobia. Ombrophobia.
No.
Fear of rain. Don't know why. That seems like a weird thing, too. A lot of these phobias don't make a lot of sense to me.
No, that one doesn't make sense to me. I don't get that.
Yeah. Ombrophobia, the fear of rains. Today's fun with phobias.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Now your weird news brought to you by weirdgiftoftheday.com. A Florida woman is accused of attacking her boyfriend with a selfie stick. There's equal opportunity in stories here as far as knuckleheads doing dumb things. Both stories from Florida, by the way. I had to choose. Should this be our moment of duh or should this be our weird news? Two stories from Florida with people attacking somebody with something silly. So she attacked her boyfriend with a selfie stick, 43-year-old Larita Branch. She got a felony battery charge for doing this. Got into an argument with her live-in boyfriend, hurled two speakers at him before whacking him on the neck and the head with a selfie stick. According to the arrest report, he had scrapes and some blood and a large red mark on his arm, multiple scrapes and red marks on his head and neck. Branch, the lady that did this, was arrested and convicted on similar charges in the past. So she's a repeat offender with a selfie stick, apparently. Bizarre story. That's today's weird news. Our moment
I
of
didn't
duh.
even know anybody used selfie sticks
I haven't
anymore.
seen one in years. They were really popular for a while.
They
Then all
were.
of a sudden, they got banned at a lot of places. Maybe because stuff like this. I don't know. Got your moment of duh on the way. Now your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. We had a story similar where somebody was smacked with a selfie stick. A lady beat up her boyfriend with a selfie stick.
Right.
That was a story. So now, that was from Florida. Here's another one, Florida story, with an ex-con who's back behind bars for striking his girlfriend in the forehead with a piece of a cookie. What?
Piece of a cookie.
I don't get this. 41-year-old Wade Smith was arrested on misdemeanor charges following an alleged battery in the couple's residence, and this is near Tampa. It says here that he threw a piece of a cookie and hit her in the forehead. Why are people doing this? Left a red mark on her forehead. She suffered no other injuries. Mr. Smith was locked up again. He has a lengthy rap sheet that includes convictions for grand theft, trafficking stolen property, fraud, and weapons possession. So
I think maybe this girl should move on.
Move on. I mean, don't let that guy, he tossed his cookies at you, so don't let him come back. So that's the second story today where somebody was assaulted with something bizarre. One was a selfie stick and the other was a cookie. Everybody, just calm down and be nice to each other. Crazy out there. Credit cards. For years, I didn't use credit cards. We paid off all of our debt and we quit using credit altogether. But then our credit score went down. It was affecting our insurance rates. Not sure why, but that's tied to your credit score. I'm not suggesting you rack up credit card debt just to rack up credit card debt. But my wife and I now each use a credit card and then we pay them off every month. It's helped our credit score. But not all cards are the same. Some cards are better than others. If you'd like to find one that's the best fit for you, check out bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net. Now, these three things, Heidi, tell me, what do these three things happen to have in common? Corn, soda, wheat. I could also add one to the list. White. Maybe that'll help. And I'm trying to think if there's another that I could add to the list. I can't think of another one right now. Soda.
So, okay,
corn.
now is this another one where you have to add a
Yeah, you
word
have
to
to
make
add a
them
word.
make sense?
So, think about wheat and white. What are those things?
I don't know.
Bread. Like wheat bread, corn bread.
Soda bread?
Apparently, soda bread. I didn't know that was a thing.
Because I
either.
was going to say bread, but then I was like, soda bread? That
I've
doesn't
never heard
make
of that.
any sense.
I've never heard of soda bread. We need to get out more often. Thanks for listening.
We need a new break. 'Cause
I like
these
this.
are ridiculous.
No, this is good because you have not gotten any right in a while, and I love
But,
it.
okay, I get them right when it's, what do these
When they
three
make
things
sense.
have in common? But when it's, what do you have to add to these three things to make them have something in common?
Sounds like somebody that doesn't play well. So.
They have nothing in common.
Okay, thanks for
Now,
listening.
if you said, what do these three things all have in common? Cornbread, wheat bread, white bread. What do they have in common? They're all bread.
Well, that would give it away. So, these three things on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of 80sinthedesert.rocks. That is an event, by the way, that's coming up in Las Vegas, May 3rd and 4th. I'll be there. This gorgeous woman sitting next to me will be there. If you would like to be there, the website, once again, is 80sinthedesert.rocks, promo code radio. Ready for some good news?
I'm ready.
So I think this is kind of an interesting thing here. It says, in preparation for a 10-hour flight, a thoughtful mom hands out goodie bags on behalf of her 4-month-old. So think about this. Have you ever had to travel with a child? Yes,
Yeah,
you have.
yeah.
We've done that. I remember, how old was Taylor when we traveled with her the first
gosh.
time? She like a year old?
A year, maybe two?
So if you're traveling somewhere and you happen to be bringing a baby along, the odds are not in your favor that baby will just sleep quietly and everything's going to
Right.
go well. So I thought this was just a really cool thing. So in preparation for this flight, a mother, this is what people are referring to as a touching gesture. She's been shared all over social media for this. She handed out gifts to all the people that were in the area around her for this 10-hour flight. And David Corona was one of the people who was a recipient of a gift from this flight from Seoul to San Francisco. He snapped a photo of this young mother handing out 200 goodie bags
Holy
containing
cow.
candy, earplugs, and a little note that explained to the fellow passengers, The note said, "Hello, I'm Junwoo, and I'm 4 months old. Today, I'm going to the U.S. with my mom and my grandma to see my aunt. I'm a little bit nervous and scared because it's my first flight, which means I may cry or make too much noise. I will try to go quietly, though I can't make any promises. Please excuse me." How cool is that?
That's
It
cool.
says, "So my mom prepared little goodie bag for you. It has some candies and earplugs. Please use them when it's too noisy because of me. Enjoy your trip, and thank you." I love that.
Yeah.
I've been on flights where like kids are going nuts, and
Yeah.
I've seen other people on the flights getting very irritated. And very,
Oh, yeah. It's
and I'm
like,
like,
come on,
"Dude,
it's a
calm down."
kid.
At one point, you were a kid.
Yeah.
And you were, if you're this crabby at an old age, you were probably even crabbier when you were a kid.
Yeah.
So I just think it was a really neat gesture. I've got a link to that story in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.